Hello and welcome to the Avrum Rosensweig Show.
Welcome to one of the internet's best podcasts, where we dive deep into the lives of the extraordinary and fascinating people who leave an indelible mark on our world. Join us as we explore their captivating stories, remarkable achievements, and unique perspectives that shape history and inspire generations. Get ready to embark on a journey through the lives of inspiring people unlike any other.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Avrum Rosensweig Show. My name is Avrum Rosensweig, and I'm delighted to be here with you. Everybody knows where they were when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and on September 11th, when the Twin Towers were brought down. We also know, as Jews, where we were on October 7th. On that terrible day, Hamas terrorists entered into Israel and killed 1,200 people, Jews and non-Jews. And they also took with them, when they returned to Gaza, those who could, hundreds of hostages. Now, on July 7th, 2024, in a poignant and deeply moving episode of our podcast, I had the privilege of speaking with Michael Levy, whose life was forever altered on October 7th when his brother or Levy was tragically taken hostage, and his sister-in-law, Eynav Levy, was senselessly murdered by terrorists in southern Israel. They have a 3-year-old son, Almog. Michael bravely shared with us raw emotions, challenges, and profound resilience that have marked his family's journey since that fateful day. His reflection on loss, strength, and the power of community painted a vivid picture of both personal tragedy and unwavering hope. This interview is a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure amidst unimaginable hardship, and a reminder of the importance of solidarity in times of adversity. Today, I am very, very deeply honored to interview Michael once again. Here we go on round 2, and I want to welcome you to the show, Michael.
Thank you.
We are going to get into what happened on October 7th with your brother and your sister-in-law. But before we do that, how are you keeping? How is your family doing?
I guess, as you can imagine, it's not easy. Every day is a struggle. You don't really know what to expect because things are changing sometimes on an hourly basis. 1 second, my girls can be happy, and a minute after they can be sad or angry, and they're not really sure why. We were told that that's probably because of what with it's probably related to October 7th, to the abduction of all, to the murder of Eynav. But we are trying, doing our best to keep them happy.
So let's talk about Or and Eynav. It was October 7th, and Or, your brother, and your sister-in-law, Eynav, she should rest in peace. They were adventuresome in nature. They loved music, right?
Right. Love music, love traveling. They knew how to enjoy life.
Levalot, as we say in Hebrew, right?
Exactly.
I love the story that you told me once, that they kept a tent ready to go at any time so that they could go camping, right?
Yeah. That's the spirit. That's who they were. And it didn't really change when Almog was born. We all thought it will change, but it didn't. So it was great to see.
Well, they went to Thailand, all three of them, didn't they? Together?
To Thailand, yeah. I think it was a few months before. Not sure when, but they went together. They had fun. As I said, they knew how to enjoy.
I love that, by the way, and a lot of people do the Israeli spirit. You guys have an inimitable spirit, really. It rises all the time. You're very inspirational to us here in the diaspora. So let's tell what happened on October 7th. So your brother Or, together with his beautiful wife Eynav, drove down to the Supernova Festival. They drove through the desert. They were a little bit late. Uh, they their son Almog was staying with your parents, I believe. Is that correct?
No, he was with Einav's parents. Actually, he was sick this whole week, the week before, and they woke up early to see how he was. Uh, I'm going to say a horrible thing, but unfortunately, he didn't have a fever,
Yes. Yes.
uh, and they decided to go. They decided to go, and they left Einav's parents' house around 5:20 a.m. and it's an hour drive. They got to the festival around 6:20, when everything started at 6:29. So you can imagine how unlucky they were.
Take us to what happened after 6:29 and afterward.
We what I know now is mostly is from stories or from timelines that we managed to somehow build and understand what happened. I have some videos of them, you know, through this day until I was abducted. The first one was filmed around 6:40, 6:45. You can see all walking. You can see missiles over his head, and you can see him walking in the parking lot. You can tell, I can tell that he was, from the look of his face, you can see that he was scared. He was probably looking for shelter. Um, After that, they got into the car. They texted my mom that they are heading back home. But when they got to the road, it was the party, the festival area was off road. When they got to the road, they had two options: to turn right, which is south, or turn left, which is north, and that's the way back home. Unfortunately, the way north was blocked by police because they knew that something is happening. So they blocked the road. So they had to run or to turn right and drove about 10 minutes till they got to a bomb shelter next to Kibbutz Reim. And they just parked the car. I have a picture of the car with it was taken a day after with the passenger's door still open. So they practically ran away from the car and hid in a bomb shelter. From inside, or called my mother. It was 7:39. He was completely terrified at that point. He just repeated the sentence, "Mom, you don't want to know what's going on here." The next thing that happened was that the terrorists arrived. It was around 7:52, about almost 15 minutes after that call. They started throwing grenades. They sprayed this bomb shelter with bullets. They even fired an RPG into it. I guess you heard the story about Anel Shapira, the brave Anel Shapira, who threw 8 grenades out. But unfortunately, one of the grenades exploded inside, and then the RPG exploded inside. Eynav was murdered. Only to watch it, I unfortunately saw the Hamas video a few minutes after when they are getting into this bomb shelter. You can see all there sitting, completely shocked. He was begging them not to take him. And the next thing was that they dragged him out, threw him in the back of a pickup truck, and kidnapped him together with actually four others. Was Hersh Pauline Goldberg, who was recently executed, Alon Noel, Elia Cohen, and another one named Raz Bokovza, who a few minutes after they threw him into the back of the pickup truck, they threw him out for some reason and just shot him. So that's the last thing we know. We released a video. I think we spoke last time after we released that video of all the others in the back of the pickup truck, and you can see the terrorists celebrating the death and suffering of all of of what they did. And I guess that's it. From that day on, here we are.
Michael, what happened after that day? What did your family experience? What did you go through?
It's very. I think it's very different. Each member of the family had a different experience. I what I try to do pretty much since October 7th, around 10:15 a.m., was to try and understand what happened, because they were missing. When Eynav were missing, Eynav was missing for 4 days until they discovered her body, and Or was missing for 8 days. So the first few days for me were me trying to figure out what happened, talking to people. I managed to find a video of them inside a bomb shelter. I managed to understand where that bomb shelter was, because back then I didn't even know where it was. So I even spoke. There is a painting on each bomb shelter. So somehow I managed to find the painter and asked him where it was, and if there is just one bomb shelter like this or more. Spoke to survivors, spoke to hospitals, spoke to the army, spoke to their bank. I wanted to understand if someone is using their credit cards. We spoke to Google to understand if there is an activity on Paul's Google account. Managed to locate his phone inside Gaza. So that's pretty much what I did until we officially got the word that he was kidnapped. It was October 15th. And in between, we discovered that Eynav was murdered. And we had the funeral and the Shiva. And we had to somehow deal with both together.
It sounds like you and your family went through a melange of feelings, many, many different feelings. That must be extraordinarily difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, that's pretty much an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes you're optimistic, sometimes you're pessimistic, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're worried, sometimes all together. In many cases, you don't even know, or you don't even understand what you are feeling right now. Why are you're sad or angry or happy? any other emotion that you can imagine. But I guess any kind of emotion was here at one point or another.
Your mother is very, very optimistic. She's actually preparing for the return of Or. Is that helpful for you, or do you think sometimes, Mom, like maybe you should chill just a bit? You know?
On one hand, I want to tell her, Mom, relax. He's not here yet, and the things that you are planning are not very logical. But on the other hand, I understand it's helping her, and it's her way to deal with it. So I let it be. But yeah, I laugh about it. But I guess that's her way to deal with things.
And your dad?
My dad is a bit different. He barely speaks. He's not a man of words. He never was. But it became it drastically changed. I mean, it's even the the little that he was doing is different now. He describes himself as a dead man walking. You can tell he's sad, and you can tell that he's worried. You can tell that something is off. But he's trying to stay active. He's doing whatever he can to help, but it's not getting any easier when time passes.
Well, Or is his little boy. There's three of you boys, right?
Yeah. There's the little one. I'm the oldest, so in a way, that's my job to look after him. So yeah, it's frustrating.
You know, as a Canadian, I live here in Toronto, Ontario. I feel extraordinarily blessed to have made a home here, to be born here, because it's predominantly a pretty safe place, less than it was. It's also very beautiful. So, if you ask me, Michael, to define my thoughts or feelings about being a Canadian, I would tell you very blessed. Now, you're living in Israel, and missiles are coming from Lebanon. They're coming from Gaza. They're coming from Yemen. They're coming from Iraq. They're coming from the Iran. Is it good to be an Israeli?
Uh, I guess I'm going to surprise you, but I won't change this country for any country in the world. Uh, I'm proud to be an Israeli. Uh, I'm proud to be part of this amazing, those amazing people. The people here are amazing. Everyone, when bad things happen, they leave everything and they want to help. And there are a lot of things that can improve here. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not normal to live under a missile threat all the time. And it's not normal to be afraid to walk on the street. And it's not normal to be afraid that you'll go to sleep and terrorists will just come to your home and kill you or take you to the tunnels of Gaza. I get it. But there's no better place in the world for us.
Are you in a constant state of fear, amongst other feelings?
I would call it fear because this is how you grow up as an Israeli. It's almost like knowing that the sun will be here, or it's going to be raining in the winter. That's part of who we are. That's part of how we grew up. That's part of growing up in Israel. If you ask any kid on the street what he should do on a missile attack, he will tell you. He'll tell you where he needs to go, how you can hide if you're in the middle of the street, what do you do if you're in a car, what do you do if you're in school, what do you do if you're in the middle of a supermarket. That's it's unfortunate, and that's not a normal way to live, but that's how we grew up. So there are good things and there are bad things, and hopefully we can improve the bad things. But like I said, I don't think there is a better place for us out there.
You live in an area not far from Tel Aviv. So when I asked you if your city has been the recipient of missiles, your response was, "Of course, every place is, right?"
Yeah,
Um, and with that, it means that you are running into a bomb shelter with your three little ones. You have three young girls. One of them is 10. You also have two 7-year-old twins. Baruch Hashem, thank God, beautiful.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. And you run into the bomb shelter, and inevitably, little kids ask why all the time, right? But what do you tell them as to what you're going through? What do you tell them about why people are trying to hurt you?
I tell them that there are bad people out there and that we are not like them. We want to live in peace, and they try to hurt us, but we won't let them hurt us. And this is why we have a strong army, and this is why we have all this amazing technology, and this is why we have bomb shelters at home, or safe rooms at home. And it's amazing to see how resilient they are. I mean, if there's something that I've learned from since October 7th is how strong my little girls.
Are they?
They are amazing.
Yeah.
My 10-year-old daughter decided it was her decision. She prepared a presentation, and for October 7th, she wanted to present the story of Or and Eynav to her school, and she did it 4 times. I was there, but she did it all alone. She answered questions that the other kids surprised her with questions, and she just stood there and answered very difficult questions. And she didn't. She was. I was amazed to see. I mean, I was scared to answer some of those questions, and she just stood there, confident, and answered them. So, what happened to us is a nightmare. It's the worst thing that you can imagine, and but on the other hand, it showed me how resilient they can be if they are forced.
How about the two little ones? How are they dealing with the situation?
Yes, pretty much the same. Obviously, it's not all good, and there are moments where they break and they cry. Sometimes with no reason, or cry themselves to sleep because they are worried that something bad is going to happen, or because they miss all and enough. But it's the same. They, if you talk to them, you won't believe that they are 7 or 10. They talk to me like grown-ups. Like I said, it's not normal in any way, but I can honestly say that I'm sure it will help them later in life dealing with challenges.
Now, your family attends the rallies on Saturdays. What happens there?
Um, for me, it's like for us, I guess, it's like a place to charge your batteries. You come there, you get all the support and love that you need. You see how many people care, how many people want to do something. You meet the other families, you meet your family, uh, and you do the only thing that you can. You try to keep going, and it's for me it's something that it helps me.
Of course, we're talking about the hostage rallies. Are there particular people, Michael, at the rallies over time that perhaps you've gotten to know or have an empathetic feeling for? I told you when we first started this interview, you're looking really good. And you look pretty much the same as when we talked on July. And thank God you look healthy. You're clearly taking good care of yourself. Good for you. Are there individuals who come to these rallies who you've sort of befriended or taken on in a way with you? I understand what you're going through.
I guess that's part of it because we meet most of the other families on a weekly basis. We became friends. Some of them became my family. So they can, I know they can understand me without the need to say anything, and I can understand them without them saying anything. I can just look at them and understand what they are going through. And if something happened the day before, or the same day, or the same week, you know exactly how they feel because that's exactly how you feel. And that's, I guess, part of it because it became like a community of families. There are young people, there are older people, there are kids, other brothers, other fathers, other moms, and you can find people to talk to about things that sometimes you can't even explain. I mean, I can try and explain how I feel. We can sit here all day and talk about my feelings and how I reacted to certain things and what I did or what I didn't do. But I don't think I can really explain feeling, the day-to-day feeling, how you feel when you wake up and how you feel when you go to sleep and how you feel when you eat or how you feel when you see a poster of your brother. And that's something that even I can't really understand in most days. And they understand. They understand and they know exactly what I'm going through, and I know exactly what they are going through, and it helps.
Is your wife going through the same thing as you are?
I it's a complicated question. I guess the answer is yes and no because she's going through similar things, but at the same time she is dealing with the girls more than I do because I'm not here most of the time, or at least half of the time. I'm traveling the world. I've been to 15 different delegations in the past year. Even when I'm here, this is what I do. I interview, I go to rallies. Even if I sit on the sofa and watch TV, my head is not there. I'm thinking about other things. So, in a way, she's experiencing the same, but she's also experiencing other stuff.
You miss your family a lot when you go away?
Of course, it's difficult. I mean, sometimes you are there. I mean, you're not going to have fun.
Yes.
What you
Yes.
do on those delegation is to tell the story and pretty much beg everyone that you meet to do something to help you get your brother back, and that's not easy. And if you go back to an empty hotel room
Yes.
at night, and you are used to sit with your family, it can sometimes break you. And there's a time difference, and they don't always want to talk to you because they miss you, and it's not easy for them as well. Um, so you have to deal with it as well.
Have you developed yourself methods of self-soothing in situations like that?
Uh, I guess I think my way to deal with those things is to be active.
Yeah.
Sometimes when something bad happens, if I hear something on the news, or if I have a bad day, I just go out and run or swim or do something, or deal with it. I guess it's kind of like doing other things, not to think about it, and to channel your emotions to healthier things, I guess.
What happens to you when you're running? Where does your mind?
Uh, that's the thing. You don't even think.
Yeah.
It clears your mind. It's either running or swimming. You think about the next move, and you don't think about the past or the present or the future. You just think about what you're about to do. And when you're tired after, you think about that, and you don't necessarily think about the bad things that happen. So it helps.
I'm assuming, like many other situations, difficult situations where the bad occurs and then there's a more of a relaxed time and then a blip can happen where that sets you off. And we respond in different ways to those blips and those times of calm. Recently, 6 of the hostages, including the Goldberg Poland son, were murdered. And I was at a friend's house when I got the news, and I went, no, 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 I can't be, no. And I was just so taken back by it and so upset by it. I couldn't believe it. Where were you? What was your response to that?
Um, it's always heartbreaking to hear those awful news. But this time for me, it was even worse because, like I said at the beginning, Hirsch was kidnapped together with all, and I know John and I know Rachel. I know the other families very well. And for me, it became more realistic. It's not that the others weren't real for me or to me, but it was a lot closer. And I think it was I'm not sure if it was the hardest week, but definitely one of the hardest weeks in the past year. And it took me a while to recover from it. I didn't have the courage to go to any of the funerals. I didn't have the courage to even meet the families after because I feel bad not doing it for not doing it, but I just couldn't.
Understood. You know, I didn't go to my sister Naomi's funeral because I couldn't. My sister, I didn't want to see her put in the ground. So if there's any similarities there, I understand, Michael. I understand. I think in situations like this, people are forgiving of such things.
I hope. I hope that they can. That yeah. I mean, that's something that when I first got the news, I couldn't even believe that they are real. I was sure it was fake at first. I was hoping it was, but when it became real, it was. I think that in the past year, I don't think I've ever stopped and just stayed home without doing anything because, like I said, I have to be active. And after that awful day, it took me 3 days to recover. I didn't leave the house for 3 days.
Are you comfortable with expressing your sadness?
I guess. I mean, I have my own way to express it. I don't cry or anything, but I am sad, obviously, and I try to talk about it when I can.
A few days ago, Yahya Sinwar was killed, who's effectively the leader of the Hamas terrorists. And now there's all kinds of discussion about a greater potential for some sort of deal that can be made, which would lead to the release of the hostages. What's going on in the inside as far as that goes?
To be honest, I don't really know. I'm hopeful that it will lead to something. We all know that this monster was the one who prevented all the latest deals, and he kept changing the terms all the time. So the hope is that now that he's out of the picture, we'll find someone who can actually reach a deal and finally get them back home.
Is there a sense of hope amongst the families?
Always. I mean, at least I can speak for myself. I'm always optimistic, and I hope that today will be the day. Actually, I wake up every morning and I tell myself every morning, today is the day, even if even if I can't really believe today is the day, I tell myself that today is going to come home because that's the only way to survive. That's the only way to keep going. That's the only way to keep doing things.
Yeah, I was referring more so to the execution of Sinwar, because here the narrative is through the media that now there are possibilities.
Uh, I don't think anyone really knows,
Yeah.
not even inside Hamas. So the hope is that yes, we'll find someone who is going to accept the deal and end this. But at the same time, you can't really tell if that's the situation or not. But if I have to guess, yes, I think that we're in a better position than we were a week ago.
You know, there are those within our communities, amongst our people, when a fellow like Sinwar is executed, that they celebrate that. And some of them celebrate it outwardly, literally through song and dance. And then there are others who sort of take the position that we should not celebrate even the death of our enemies. What's your response when such a person is executed?
Yeah, obviously the world is a better place without him.
Yes.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. But for me, I'm not celebrating that. I don't think us as Israelis or as Jews, I don't think we need to celebrate that because that's how the terrorists do things. For me, it's not even about revenge. I don't. If you ask me to choose if they will kill Sinua or bring back my brother, I'll choose my brother any day. Uh, um, I hate this guy. I hated this guy. I think he deserved to die, but we are not doing it for revenge. We are doing it to get the hostages back. And yes, in many cases, it means killing terrorists. And I think this is what we should do if they are not, if they are trying to kill us. But at the same time, I do not want to celebrate it. And yeah, I wasn't sad. I won't shed a tear about this monster, but I won't celebrate it.
There is a lot of discussion nowadays about the way that Israel is not only responding to the war, and the sense overall is that Israel is winning, but also the wherewithal of the Israeli soldier. There was some article today in the CNN, I believe it was, about a fellow who took his life because he was in the reserve and he just couldn't fathom going back down into Gaza because of what he had experienced. Is that a concern of yours? Do you see it around you, the soldiers and their personal suffering?
Uh, War is an awful thing. And even if you are winning, or what people call winning,
Yeah.
you experience awful things. And by the way, I don't think Israel is winning because winning for me means that the hostages are back.
Yes.
There is no win without them back.
Fair
So
enough.
that will be the only win. Um, but you back to your question, when you see, if you're a normal human being, if you have a soul, even if you see your enemies dying, you will it will affect you. It will make you feel bad. It will do something to your soul because any normal human being won't enjoy the death of anyone. You can be, uh, you can think they deserved it. You can think that you did the right thing. And I think we all believe that killing those terrorists is the right thing to do. But at the same time, I don't think anyone can enjoy death. And it is affecting soldiers. I have friends who are affected by it. I know people who were affected by it, and it's an horrible situation. I think we need to end it if we can. If the hostages are back, we need to end this war for the sake of those soldiers as well.
Michael, in conclusion of our time together, our schmooze, I want to do so on a positive note, as positive as we can be. And with that, I want to ask you about Or, Eynav, and Almog. I love the stories you tell about your brother Or. You said that he used to break things so he could fix them, right?
Right.
Tell us a story about Or.
Uh, yeah, I recently, just thought about every afternoon after we came back from school. My mom would go to nap, and we were pretty much ruining the house. We played any kind of sport you can imagine in the middle of the living room.
Yeah.
Played basketball and volleyball and soccer and football and handball, and you can imagine yourself what it can do to a living room if you are not very careful. And we
Yeah,
weren't
yeah,
very
exactly. Yeah.
careful. So yeah, that's the thing I think the thing I miss the most. It was fun to do it. My mom was angry at us all the time because of it, but
Of course.
we had so much fun.
Is Or an amazing guy? Does he have an amazing personality? Because I see that in his eyes.
Yeah, is the fun guy that people just love to be around him because he's this smart, funny,
Mm.
always smiling kind of guy, and it's fun to be around people like this.
And Eynav, she should rest in peace. You look at her and she seemed like a very sweet human being. And I love the way she looked at your brother. Can you tell us something about Eynav?
Uh, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, that was kind of that. I keep saying that they were soulmates. Not a lot of people find their soulmates, and they did. So it was really amazing to see. And as you said, she was an amazing person. Always happy, always smiling, always positive. Uh, you know, that's what can I say? I mean, we miss her. I miss her. I miss her.
What would you say her legacy is?
Um, her smile, I think.
Yeah.
Mm, it was. I think she wanted us to keep smiling.
Did you have a nice relationship with her as a brother-in-law?
Yes, I mean, we were together on Shabbat dinners. We were
Yes.
together in all those family events.
Yes.
my girls loved her. My girls still miss her.
Now they have a little guy. His name is Almog. He's 3 years old. I believe he turned 3 in June. It was right after we did the interview. What's Almog like? What's his personality like?
It reminds me a lot. He's pretty much like all. He also likes to play with electrical things and to turn on and turn off switches, play with fans, play with cars. He's very, very smart, sometimes even too smart for a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see. I mean, his smile is, he also has this, the smile that you mentioned about his father. He has the same kind of smile. But that he's smiling and he's happy, but he's going to do something, and you have to be very careful.
Gotta watch out for that boy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does he talk about his parents?
Yes. I told you earlier about Yom Kippur, the latest Yom Kippur, when Tal, my other brother, took him to ride a scooter, and he asked him, "Who taught you to ride it?" And he said, "My daddy all taught me to do it." And he saw a picture of Eynav, and he just started screaming, "That's my mommy! That's my mommy!" And he asked about them. He wants them back. He, he's asking sometimes he's asking if daddy is really coming back. And it's hard because you don't know what to tell him. On one hand, you want to promise him that he will be back, but on the other hand, you can't really promise it. So
Michael,
it's not.
I want to thank you very much for doing this. I hope you're okay with the questions that I asked, because I think what people want to know from you is who you are, how you're doing, really. And I really appreciate your honesty. But within both of our interviews, not once did you decline answering any of my questions. And I have to tell you something, that because of that, you give us a lot of inspiration, and I thank you so much for that. I really do.
First of all, thank you for that. I have to tell you that I don't feel like someone who can give or inspire someone. I'm doing what I do because I have to do it, not because it's not that I'm special or different or any of those things, because I'm just doing what everyone would do if their loved one was there.
Well, with that, I have to say that it appears that you're an amazing brother, and you're an amazing father and husband. And whether everybody would do what you're doing or not, I'm not so sure of that. Some people deal with such situations by being very quiet and being very isolated. But you've decided to take yourself out of any form of isolation, except spottily from time to time when things are very difficult. But the reason I do this show is because I want to inspire humankind. And I want to remind my viewers that the world which we share, although it has a huge cloud hanging over it, and here's a very good example, there's also such beauty in it. And I find beauty in the way you describe your runs, that when you go outside and you jog and when you swim and where your mind goes. I find beauty in the way you describe your brother and your sister-in-law and your nephew. You're very thoughtful. And I want to, again, as they say in the vernacular in Yiddish, yeshakoyach. Nice job. Nice job. And I always enjoy speaking with you so much because really we've never met eye to eye, but I get a sense that you have a beautiful neshama, and I wish you and your family well. And we all pray and we wait for the day when Or walks through your front door and every other hostage does as well. So God bless you. And thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you so much, and I'm waiting for the second he enters that door, so I'll be able to kick his ass for making us going to this.
Great way to end the interview, by the way. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening and for viewing. This is a very important interview, and I would ask you please to share it far and wide. It's inordinate that we understand the situation of the hostages, that we fight on their behalf. And tantamount with that is recognizing the families, those individuals who are praying for them every single day and working arduously toward their release, one of whom is our guest today, Michael Levy. So well done. And until we meet again, as they say, Sei gesund, go in health, and there should be peace in Israel. Am Yisrael Chai, and the hostages should come home today. Thank you so much.